Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. And we have our review of the West semifinal. Rick, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have defeated and eliminated the BC Lions by a score of 28-19. Bit of a closer game than the first one, but also a little bit of a more boring game at times than the first one. Rick, what do you think on this one?
Let's just say I'm kind of glad VA's done with BC.
Yeah, no,
because now moving forward, anything wrong with BC, it's now all on Rourke's shoulders.
Yeah, which that's man, BC's really gonna need to.
We were talking about this earlier. It's like, okay, now that Vernon Adams is gone, well, he's not technically gone yet, but he will be.
BC when they signed Rourke to a $750,000 contract, Vernon Adams Jr. and then VA sitting after essentially having what was in the running for MLP, but then they sit him down after he comes back off injury. I think if you're VA, you're like, yeah, writing's on the wall. They want this guy. This is the one. This is the guy they spent a bunch of money on, and now he's playing in this and that. And, no ill will in the sense of, as much as this is football, it is business, and they got to do what they think is the best business deal. But clearly they don't think it's me, whether it is or isn't. And so, it was a good time being there. I'll play my role for the rest of the season, and then at that point, kind of a best of luck in your future endeavors and find something else.
How much you want to make a bet? The BC owner is really pissed off right now.
Oh, and it's funny. It's one of those things where I think the BC Lions ownership has done a fantastic job at marketing this team and this and that. But with Rourke coming in, it was great originally, and it just has not panned out this season. I think if you're BC, all you can hope is that with kind of having the system plan for Rourke from the start, maybe this can go a little bit differently. And he is still young. He's a very capable. He is a good quarterback. He just wasn't, in my opinion, coming back from the NFL, not being there, training camp, this and that. I don't think he was ready.
No, but I mean, I can guarantee you they probably went over. They probably went over salary cap.
Oh, they definitely did.
And it's like, okay, well, we just went over salary cap. Because you have to remember, they signed
Betts as well. It wasn't just Rourke. It was Betts, too. And Betts was
I know. Cheap. And then it's just like, okay, well, now we have to pay this fine, and it didn't even get it. Like, that's the thing.
Result. Yeah. Although, again, that's the thing. That's the game. You can go over the cap. You can pay the fine. But if you don't get the result in the playoffs, it kind of sucks a bit. And they'll make some money from the hosting the Grey Cup this year. So I think financially they'll be fine. I like, as much as it's annoyance to them, I think financially they'll be okay. But let's talk a bit more about the game. So firstly, Rick, I will say, Vernon Adams Jr. in most likely his last game as a Lion. Punting. What a strange play. And you know what I will say? It was actually
a good 46.
It was a good punt. He got it under the 10, he got it out of bounds. It was honestly a good punt. Seriously, I was impressed.
I'm kind of hoping that he comes east because Vernon Adams has done horrible in Mosaic.
Oh, yeah?
Because, I mean, don't forget, the week that we went, it was like, 30-8 or something like that?
But VA didn't play that game.
No, I know. But still, Nathan Rourke did. BC goes back. And they still play horrible.
Yeah, no. It's funny. I did hear one thing, though, that I thought was interesting, and it was actually regarding the Bombers in terms of the result of this game, which is, as much as the Bombers were hoping for the Lions in the sense of that, them not wanting Saskatchewan to get a single win, when the Bombers won the Grey Cup, they didn't get past. It wasn't them getting past the Lions, really. It was them, it was them beating, I think it was Calgary, I believe, in 2019. And then in 2021, I believe it was Saskatchewan. And then 2022 and 2023 was BC, which they beat, but they didn't win the Grey Cup those years. So maybe a little bit of superstition, boogeyman kind of shit like that. But you were about to bring up something very important, which is the omelet man himself, Mr. the guy who was, supposed to be Thor, but then he kind of dyed his hair this week. I believe didn't they say that was because when he won with the Argonauts, that was what he did, is that his hair was kind of dyed like that, and so it was supposed to be.
I can't remember how it went.
That's what they were saying on the broadcast, that it was something like that. So maybe that's what it was. But 14 rushes, 70 yards for him. I think this is probably Ouellette's best performance with the Riders in did he in a single game have a better performance than that? He might have in one of those games later in the year, but he kind of struggled in his first few games, and so I think this was kind of an important look for him.
I mean, really, outside of what is it? The one touchdown that Harris threw. Didn't they get a pick six?
I'm sure I remember here. Lions?
No.
Harris didn't throw an interception.
No. Didn't
Vernon?
Saskatchewan get a
they might have. I'm trying to remember here. God, there's so much football we watched this weekend with those two games, and how
touchdown, field goal.
I don't think so. I don't think they got a pick six. I think they just got a series of picks and turnovers and whatnot. Yeah, no, stand back.
I don't know. It's just Saskatchewan didn't just. I mean, besides their 3 interceptions and their 3 sacks, their team. As much as everyone wants to ride them for being the next team to hopefully win, they didn't I don't know what it was.
I don't believe in the hopefully.
No. What I'm saying is, Rider fans and that. But I mean, Harris threw 279 and he got the job done, but he only threw 1 touchdown.
That's true. That is true. They did get a bit rushing. Rushed that in twice again. The one passing one was for Stearns. And then they had done pretty decent with some field goals here with Brett Lothar went 2 for 2, longest 34 yards. And then I'm just looking here. And they also got you have to remember their last touchdown, they got a 2-point conversion to keep it over a score.
No, I get that. But I mean, if you look at MLS and Johnson, MLS had 106 yards, Johnson had 66, and then Keontae Baker only had 39.
Yeah, no, that's true. And then it just kind of falls off down from there. And then on the line side of things, Katoy with a big game. He had been spent a lot of time injured, and I had kind of high hopes for Katoy this year in the season in terms of he was kind of one of the guys I said I think he would kind of have a bit of a breakout year. And I think there was a chance for him to sort of have that, but he's just spent so much time on injury that it just hasn't really given him that opportunity. But he definitely blew up a little bit this game. Only 3 receptions, but for 82 yards and a touchdown pass. He had played well. Eberhardt was solid. Stanback, 5 receptions, 53 yards. They either need to teach him how to catch or they got to stop throwing to him. And what I mean by that is not necessarily that he's not capable of catching, but why is it that every stand-back catch is there it is, and it's just this juggling the ball, just praying to God that an outside linebacker doesn't see that and go okay and just grab that, because I've seen it happen, and so
not even that, but I mean Keon Hatcher went 2 for 8.
Yeah, and when you're William Stanback, I think your goal is to get more than 27 rushing yards. So it's not ideal in that regard. It's funny. It feels like every game I watch, there's at least one funky thing that happens with a punt. So in most games, it's Flintloff deciding that the scoreboard was going to be his target. And then this game, Vernon Adams Jr., they look like they're going to go for a third down. And then VA gets it. And he starts stepping back. Like, he backpedals further than normal, if you notice on this play. And I'm watching this and I'm thinking, like, does he not believe in his O-line? Like, is he just trying to give himself more time? Because you have to remember, this quarterback that's kind of known for kind of escaping the pocket and running and grabbing a few yards running. And so I thought maybe he was doing that. But then when he kind of steps forward, puts his foot out, I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then he punts it. just
Could you imagine if Vernon Adams punts it, his team runs down and recovers it?
That's crazy. That's just a calamity of what the hell just happened, sort of thing. It's funny, like I'm still surprised that more teams haven't tried that Alouettes onside punt sort of ordeal to reset the downs. But it is what it is. And then Sean White would go 2 for 3. Now, Sean White, he had a bit of a strange night. There's one where he kicks a field goal and it goes flying off into right field. And it goes through the uprights, but it's like, whoa, that wind.
That was the wind.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm claiming it right now.
He misses the conversion on the first one. He hits the uprights. And then I think later in the game, he hits the uprights again. And so Sean White and it's funny, we're watching. And the second I see him miss that conversion, I'm like, Rick, the football gods have listened to what I said in our not yet released at the time, but definitely recorded. We recorded it the night before. CFL Awards video. By the way, you should check it out. It's like an hour and a half, and it's awesome. It's just me and Rick just like chirping at each other for an hour and 27 minutes. It's great content. If you're looking to rot your ears out, then you'll have an awesome time with that. But I said that Castillo should have won the West there. And I don't care how accurate you say he was, because he wasn't going for nearly as many of those longer kicks. And you know what? It's not even like he played a terrible game. But saying that this guy's got the shit that don't stink, then that's not the case. So that was kind of my observation. And Rick, you got an earful of that during the stream, where I was just like, oh, I called it.
You're like, Rick. And then don't forget the last play of the first quarter when Harris fumbles that ball and then it goes back 14 yards. And then they end up moving up forwards because Ottawa or BC got the penalty.
Yeah. There was a lot of just kind of what the hell is this sort of thing that.
The West will be in. This week's games, Toronto and Montreal and BC or Saskatchewan and Winnipeg. They're both going to be very interesting games. Let me tell you.
And it's funny because on the east side you have Montreal looking to, defend their Grey Cup, their last one, and then with the Bombers, they're holding on to this legacy. They, if they win this year, that is 5 consecutive Grey Cup appearances, with the chance of grabbing their 3rd out of that and avenging their last year, or possibly getting into that game to once again go down to the Alouettes or the Argos, because it's if the Bombers go to the final and win, it's either them avenging their 2023 loss or their 2022 loss. So it's just kind of a fun situation in that regard. But we'll get on to those when we get to those. But all in all, VA throws more interceptions than he does touchdowns. He's a little over, or actually a little under 60%. If you're Vernon Adams Jr., I don't think this is a game that you're really kind of like. I think you're looking for a bit better than this, and not even to necessarily say that he played terrible. I don't think he played terrible, but he got 19 points on the board. You need a bit more than that if you're going to want to win realistically. But then again, at the same time, defense gave up 28 points. Hard to win when you're giving up that much. If we kind of look at a bit of the breakdown here, BC puts up 6 in the first. Saskatchewan puts up 3, so BC 6-3 lead coming out of the first quarter. That then changes a little bit with the second quarter. Saskatchewan going out 10 points for them, 7 for the Lions. Lions are it is then a 13-13 tie going into halftime. And then BC scores 3 in the third quarter. Saskatchewan scores 7. BC has time to get back into this game, but they're not able to. And they get up. They put up 3 in the fourth. Riders put up 8 with the 2-point conversion on their touchdown, and they're able to get it done in that regard. And so it was it looked like a situation you have to realize. Saskatchewan won 3 out of 4 quarters in this game. BC wasn't able to go 50% at least in that regard. So overall, BC just kind of played consistently mid, and it was just almost that law of diminishing returns where they just kept trying to do the same thing, and all that happened was Saskatchewan got better at defending it. And then it eventually, it ended up with them only putting up field goals in that third and fourth quarter. So got to do a bit more than that. And then defensively, they gotta try to play a bit tighter there. There was a few times where, at least on one of those interceptions, I don't even know what VA is thinking. He's able to run. He could have gotten at least 8-9 yards. Again, this is first or second down. He could have gotten close enough to get it on third down and short yardage. If it was second down, if it was first down, then it's even more brain dead. But he throws it into double coverage, and Milligan Jr. jumps right in front of it. And I don't see the point in that. I felt like Vernon Adams Jr. was trying to be a little bit too bold when he didn't need to be. Not that there's a bad thing about being bold in kind of big games, but I felt like he just took one too many chances, and I think it burnt him a little bit when realistically I think he could have extended that drive with a little bit of better decision making. But I mean, if we're looking here, the Riders, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and then they got a fumble recovery there for Brown. And so defensively, Saskatchewan played just completely lock and key down all over that. And so I think they're going to look to try to do that again against Winnipeg. And I think it'll be a bit difficult for Saskatchewan. Just kind of they have a history of having a little bit of a hard time in Winnipeg. Not that they haven't won in Winnipeg. They absolutely have. And the Bombers have to take them extremely seriously as a threat, because they absolutely are a threat. Corey Mace has done a lot with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that allowed them to get past BC. And as much as this is very, very disappointing for BC, years of getting to that West Final and getting disappointed, now losing in the Western semifinal, not even reaching that, with questions all over the roster. All you can hope for BC is that next season that Nathan Rourke is able to really show the promise that BC was looking for. And then at that point, establish consistency. And I think the internal drama and everything that was going on with that lineup, and who's it going to be this year, who's it going to be next year, who's it going to be this game, who's it going to be next game, I think that just got in the way of just playing good football in BC, and I think that showed up in this game. So I don't know.
And another thing to point out is Saskatchewan fans didn't even sell out the stadium.
I wasn't going to mention that, but
apparently I was just looking at the numbers. So it apparently holds 33,350 fans.
It holds almost the exact same as Winnipeg's.
They only had 26,135.
Yeah, so I'm just going to put something up on the screen. And Rider fans may not like it, but
come on, you honestly didn't think that it was going to be sold out?
I didn't think the West Final would be sold out.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew the West Final would be sold out. I'm just pointing out that it's sold out on Monday, and the game's on Saturday. Because you have to realize it was one of those things where most of the tickets were already sold. 30,000 were already sold before Saskatchewan had even won that game. There was only 3,000 remaining, or 2.5, or whatever the hell the capacity is, because it's somewhere in that range. But I think some people were kind of waiting on who the opponent was, because I think they're like realistically with some of the more casual ones, they may be more interested in the Winnipeg Saskatchewan one than the Winnipeg BC. And then there may be some people who I don't even know if they had technically given actually a start time for the game yet at that point. Because because we got them with our season tickets, we bought them essentially blind in the sense of, yeah, sure, if there's a playoff game, whenever it is, yeah, we'll go to it. We don't know when this game is, so there's a lot of people that kind of bought it with that premise. But Bomber games, they sell quick, so they're doing well, and that'll be a loud, thunderous crowd. I mean, Rick, you've been a part of it for just a normal game against Toronto of all opponents, who I do not really consider, as much as you're disappointed they lost a Grey Cup to them. In the grand scale of rivals, they're definitely not one of them. In the sense of that, I think Bomber fans maybe hold a little bit more resentment to Saskatchewan, to BC. And I think those two teams are probably the two rivals right now, especially Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan will always be that number one rival. So if you heard what it was like against the Toronto Argonauts, it is going to be going absolutely batshit insane come the West Final. And Saskatchewan Roughriders have earned their way into that.
Yeah, so it's all going to come down to... Oh, what's this? Yeah, I just think that it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Come this week. Got some interesting games going on.
Is there anything else you got in this game, Rick?
Not really.
Yeah, I think realistically we covered the majority of it. I want to thank everyone who tuned into the streams, both for the Eastern and Western semifinal. To support. It was a fun time. Enjoyed having you guys around. We did not originally believe that we'd be able to stream this weekend. However, me and Rick actually will be able to, sort of. We will be able to stream most likely from Canadian Football Central. If not, it'll be from Ticats Talk Network. Either way, the stream will be promoted on the Canadian Football Central social medias, Instagram, Twitter. So there'll be, whenever that stream opens up, there'll be links to the live stream from there, from whatever account we have that is running the stream. And we'll start the stream together. We'll watch as much of the game as we can together. And then at some point, I will need to leave.
He's going to dip.
As I am going to the West Final at IG Field, Princess Auto Stadium, whatever the hell you want to call it. I'll be in attendance for that. That'll be an awesome night, hopefully.
And I'll be able to host by myself.
And Rick will finish the game solo. But yes, he's going to do an incredible job no matter what. So thank you. Make sure you guys tune into that. If you guys haven't already, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't. And hit the notification bell so that way you do not miss any of our other uploads. Got a lot of stuff coming out, during playoffs. And, we'll have some stuff coming out afterwards. We've got some cool stuff planned out for around then. So make sure you guys...
Carter, I meant to ask you.
Tune into that.
How exhausted were you after that Saskatchewan game on Saturday, considering that you did 3 live streams in one day?
Oh, I was so burnt out, man. Literally afterwards, I'm like, I need some goddamn food, and I need to lie down. Like it was a lot of. It's funny. It doesn't sound like exhausting in the sense of like, oh, you're just sitting on your ass all day. Yeah, but I'm someone I like to be moving. I like to I like the hustle and bustle. And moving around, sitting on my ass all day just makes me tired just because I'm not getting my blood flowing, getting moving. So I was a bit tired from that. Also, one thing I did forget to mention. If you're listening to this on Spotify, give us 5 stars. Make sure you do that. Helps out the channel a ton. We're trying to kind of increase our footprint over on Spotify. And so big thanks to all the listeners we have over there. And Rick, anything else you got? Are you going to hit him with the Ash Ketchum? You going to do it?
No.
No? You're not? No. There's none of this? None of this?
No.
Fair enough. Peace, love, and positivity to all you wonderful people at home. And, we will see you guys next time.